So, so in the last session, we have discussed about the few basics like, so what are the subset of modules of the each module like the financials, so PPM, SCM, expenses, time and labor, etc., etc. And also we have discussed about the complete overview of the application, how the home page will be, and what is the navigator, then how we are going to run the processes manually, the same processes, how we are going to schedule the same thing, then where do we go and refer the reporting. And these things we have seen in yesterday's session, and somehow we could see like the functional setup manager, where exactly we can go and do the setups or configurations for your respective modules. Okay, so this is what we have focused in yesterday's session. In today's session, completely we are going to focus on the security. The security. Okay. So in the lower versions like EBS, if it is 11i version or release 12 version like R12, okay, the security is based on the responsibilities. Okay, so in EBS particularly the 11i or release 12, okay, the complete security is based on the responsibilities. Okay, in a Fusion Cloud, so the same responsibilities we are going to the call as the roles. We are going to call as a roles. Okay, so there is a concept of RBAC. There is a concept of RBAC which stands for the role-based access control. Role-based access control. Okay. You see, so normally if I am the PPM functional consultant and if you are the finance functional consultant, we are the basically the implementation consultant and we should get an access to all the modules. Okay, that is not an issue. So when it comes to the business side, there are many users are working and a few users are working on the PPM and a few users are working on the finance. Especially in the finance, a few users are working only on the payables and a few users are only working on the receivables. Then how do I provide the access only for the payables for one particular user? Then how do I provide the access only for the receivables for one particular users? Then how do I provide access only for the project costing for one particular user? So this is where I wanted to restrict the access for the users. Okay, so based on the data which is provided by the customer, and we need to restrict the access for the different users who are working for the business side. Okay, during the implementation phase. So everything whatever I discussed here and everything it's completely based on rollback access control, role based access control. Okay, so this is the concept and which I use in Fusion Cloud applications to maintain the security, Okay, so as a PPM functional consultant, it's not a consultant, as a PPM user, so it doesn't make sense to get an access to the finance modules. It doesn't make sense to get an access for the SCM modules. Okay, if you are a PPM user, then you should get access only for the PPM. That's it. Okay, then how we are going to restrict the access in this way? In this way is it just because of using this role based access control. In the lower versions like 11 and R12, we have a concept of responsibilities. Okay, country wise, we have a separate responsibilities for the each module, and the same responsibilities in the replacement of the responsibilities is like a roles in the Fusion applications. Okay, so this complete this role based access control, it's completely depends on three terms. It completely depends on three terms. Okay, one is who, and the second one is what, okay, and third one is the which. Okay, I'll tell you what is the meaning of these three terms. Okay, who refers an individual, who refers an individual, okay, individual, and what refers actions. That means as an individual, what type of actions I'm going to perform in the Fusion application. That is what the meaning is. Here, who represents individual? Nothing but a user, the business side user. The user, what type of actions he can able to perform. Okay, that is what represents. And finally, which represents, so it's like I have a business in the multiple countries. Whether the user is responsible for US or UK or India or Singapore or Japan or how it is. As a PPM user, I'm responsible only for India. Even though my business is in the different countries, only I'm responsible for India only. Then how I can restrict the access for India specific to the PPM? That is what it represents, like a entity. Okay, is it a US entity or a UK entity or the Singapore entity or Japan entity or etc. etc. Okay, so this is what it is talking about. Okay, now it's called who individual who can do who can do who can do who can do what on which set of data, who can do on which set of data. This is what the whole meaning of these are three terms. These are three terms. Okay, now let's see. So it's like the individual like individual may be a clerk, or individual may be a project manager, or individual may be a delivery manager, or individual may be a project accountant, and individual may be a project administrator, etc., etc. These are the few examples of the who. That means an individual. Okay, from the business side, users are going to act as a project managers or clerk or project accountant or a project administrator or account payable supervisor, etc., etc. Okay, so these individuals, nothing but these users are acting as a project manager or delivery manager, accountant or administrator, and every user, okay, every individual is having their own set of actions to perform. Their own set of actions to perform. It depends on the module. It depends on the module. Okay. Now, like, so the actions are like enter the transactions, okay, and doing the accounting, okay, and view the dashboards, okay, then create a projects and enter the budgets and enter the forecasts and creating customer invoices and recognizing revenue, etc. These are the certain actions to perform by the users. Okay. So these individuals are going to perform these type of actions on different entities like USA, Singapore, London, Japan, India, etc., etc. Okay. So these are the examples of the who, what, and which. Okay. Any questions here?
So the restriction is based on the entity, right? The country in which
Yes.
it
The
operates.
restriction is in a two ways, Fayaz.
Yeah.
Okay. One is based on the role.
Okay.
Okay. Other one is based on the entity. Okay. Now you are the PPM user
Yeah.
only for India. So
Okay.
the PPM specific role should be assigned for your user so that you will get an access to PPM module.
Okay.
But the question is, we have a different entities. As a PPM user, for which entity you are going to work? Again, you need to provide the access for India, specific to the PPM module, specific to the PPM role.
Okay.
We are not up to that level now. Only we are in
Yeah.
the 10% of the security now.
Okay.
Okay. So now when it comes to the PPM, what happens is we have the different roles. Okay. Like the project accountant, project accountant. Okay. Whose responsibility is to enter the transactions against a project, and whose responsibility is to do the create accounting. That means a derivation of the debit account and a credit account for your transaction. Okay. Then these type of actions, and he is going to perform like the cost adjustments, etc., etc. Okay. So, as a project accountant is specifically for a PPM role. If I assign this a project accountant role with your user, so from your user, you can able to perform entering the transactions for your project, or doing the create accounting, or doing some adjustments for your project, etc., etc. So these are the actions, and this is an individual. Okay. And this individual is a purely responsible for USA. So this individual is purely responsible for this entity to perform these actions. Okay. The other one is it is also specific to the PPM role only, project administrator. Okay. Whose responsibility is to create a project, and whose responsibility is to entry entry, etc. Okay. And this user is completely responsible for India. This user is completely responsible for the entity called um, India. Okay. And there is another role in the PPM like a project manager. Okay. And whose responsibility is to manage the management side. That means view the transaction specific dashboards. Okay. And he's particularly responsible for Japan. Okay. So these are the individuals. That means we have an individual like uh, Fayaz. Fayaz is the user. So for this user, if I assign these three roles for this user, so if I assign these three roles, so what happens is I'm assigning this role to Fayaz, and the same role I'm assigning to the other role is assigning to the Fayaz, and the one more role we are assigning to the Fayaz. Okay, totally, and Fayaz is the user. Okay, so we have three different roles assigned for Fayaz, like a project accountant and a project administrator and a project manager. Now, Fayaz is going to act as a project manager to perform these activities for the entity called US. And Fayaz is going to act as a project administrator to perform these activities for the entity called India. The same user, Fayaz, is going to act as a project manager to perform these activities for the entity called Japan. Here, the Fayaz is purely responsible for three entities. Three entities. For three entities, he is going to acting as a different things like a accountant, administrator, and a project manager. Okay. So this is how it is. One security is this portion. One security is this portion. That means if I assign any module specific roles with your user, and you will get a module specific access, that's it. But the next question is, so through this, once you get an access to these modules, okay, for which entities you are going to work? That is what the next question. Okay, so then how we are going to work for the entities specific to these roles? So that is by providing the data access. That is by providing the data access. Okay, so this is the first level of the security. Okay, module wise security we can provide with the help of assigning the roles with the user. And the next level of security is based on the entity. That means we can achieve it by using the data access. By using the data access. Okay, that also I'll tell you. Okay, now see, Fayaz is a user. Okay, now he is going to act as a project accountant. Project accountant. Okay. Next, for which entity? For which entity he is going to act as a project? You can refer this. You can refer this. You can refer this explanation, and you tell me. So Fayaz is acting as a project accountant for which entity? These are the entities, right? US. That means US is a one business unit. US is a one business unit. Okay. What is the business unit name? USA. USA. Okay. If the same thing, if I rewrite like this, here the project administrator, administrator, and project manager. As an accountant, he is responsible for US. As an administrator, he is responsible for India. And as a manager, he is responsible for Japan. Okay. If you provide the data access like this, and will get an access to the entities. This is a second level of the security we can provide based on the entity. Okay. If we provide the security like this, and we'll get an access to the respective modules, but we don't know for which entity we are going to work. In order to go with it, then we need to provide the data access for the user. Okay, now this is called as this is a username, and this is a model specific role. Then this is a security context. In what context you are going to apply this security? And this the security context value. The security context value. Okay, so these are the column names. Okay, everything I can populate in the system. You don't worry about it. You don't worry about it. Way to go and create this user. Way to go and assign the roles for the user, and way to go and provide this type of data access. Okay, everything I'll discuss. This is a theoretical part only. This is the theoretical part only. Okay, now coming to this roles portion, so every module is having some set of the roles. Okay, for account payables we have a different roles, for project costing we have a different roles, and for project billing we have a different roles, and for account receivables we have a different roles. Okay, for each and every module, the Oracle has given the different roles. Using those roles, we can able to access the respective modules. Okay, now apart from these module specific roles, in generic, we have a 4 to 5 different types of roles are available. 4 to 5 different types of roles are available. The last one is not as part of the recent version. It was as part of the previous versions. Okay. So finally, so 5 different types of the roles in the Fusion applications. Okay. In generic. Okay. It's not specific to any module. It's like we are the human beings. A human being is a one generic term, but you have your own name and I have my own name. These are the specific names, correct? Okay. So if that is the case, we have some generic roles are available in the Fusion. Next, we'll jump into the specific roles. Okay. We get understanding of these generic roles so that we'll get the clear cut, the picture of the model specific roles. Okay. So 5 different types of roles in Fusion applications. Okay. The first one is the privilege. The first one is privilege. Okay. What is meant by the privilege? What is meant by the privilege? Privilege which determines what functionality a user is able to access and execute on his screen, on his screen. That means, let me jump into the system and we'll show you. Okay. So if I go to our instance, let's see, I wanted to go with I wanted to go with the payables model. Okay. Otherwise, mm, let's go with contract management. Let's go with the projects and cost. I wanted to show you something how the privilege will be. Manage project cost. Manage project cost. You forget about what I'm doing here now. Okay. We are in the beginning only. So yeah, let me see this. Normally, this is one transaction. You just remember, this is one transaction. How to enter this transaction, where to go, and that is a different story. We can see later. Okay. Here in this particular screen, this is a transaction screen, and there is so much of data is available here. On this particular screen, what actions you are going to perform? What actions you are going to perform? This is your screen. On this screen, you are going to perform certain actions. What type of actions you are going to perform? Maximum here on the top right corner, I can see two options. One is one button done, and the other one is actions. If I click on the action, further it is expanding. Further it is expanding. If I go to accounting, further it is expanding. Correct? Okay. That means so the privilege which nothing but which determines what functionalities is the user is able to access and execute on his screen. Okay. That means the privilege is the final one which we cannot expand further. See, if I click on the post to the ledger and it is not further expanding. If I click on the account in a draft, it is not further expanding. And if I click on the view accounting, it is not further expanding. If I click on any one of these options, so what happens? Internally, system will do something and the system will give us some data. Like if I go with the post to ledger, the system will derive the debit account and the credit account in the final mode. And if I click on this account in draft, the account derivation will be in the draft mode. If I wanted to cross verify what accounting is derived by the system, and I can go with the view accounting and all. Okay. So for each and every option here, for post to ledger, there is a one privilege in the system. For account in a draft, there is a one privilege in the system. And for view accounting, there is a one privilege in the system. Okay. Even if you go with edit comment, nothing it is expanding, right? Nothing it is expanding. So for this also, there is a one privilege. There is a one privilege. And these are the privileges are available on this particular screen to perform. I can perform post to a ledger. I can perform account in draft. I can perform via accounting, and I can perform providing the comment for this particular transaction. Okay, this is nothing but a privilege. This is nothing but a privilege. I'll show you how the privilege will be. I'll show you how the privilege will be. Where to go and refer, where to go and see the privilege and how the privilege will be. That I'll show you. You don't worry. This is something like a definition only. Okay. Now, so these are three privileges. We have, the Oracle has grouped these three privileges under one umbrella, the umbrella called accounting. Accounting. Okay. Which is nothing but the other role called the duty role. The other role called the duty role. The second one is the duty role. The second one is the duty role. Okay. It is made up of different privileges within application to perform specific actions with the specific data, with the specific actions and the specific data. Nothing but a group of privileges under one umbrella, which is called as a duty role. Then how do I identify whether one role is a privilege or a duty role or any other role? That also I will show you. That also I will show you. Okay. In our case, so for this accounting option, we have a one duty role. We have a one duty role. Okay. For these three options, we have the privileges in the system. And if I keep these three privileges, if I keep the privileges specific to these three options under this accounting, and which may be called as a duty role. Because of the duty role is assigned for your user, I'll get an access to this accounting option. But the duty roles we cannot assign directly with the users. There is a story behind this. Then we'll tell you. Okay. Now, so if I click on this done, this is the last one. It is not further expanding. That means for this button also there is a one privilege. If I click on this actions, it is not the last one. If I click on the actions, further it is expanding. That means there are there are so many privileges and the duty roles we are grouping under one umbrella. That is called as a duty role. Under the duty role, we are going to associate the another duty role as well. Okay, privileges, the duty roles. This is how the definitions of these roles. Any questions here? Okay. Now we'll go with the other role. We'll go with other role like job role. We'll go with other role like a job role. Okay. It completely represents the specific jobs or positions in the organization. Okay. I'm the consultant. That is what my position in my organization. And you are the accountant in our organization. Okay, accountant is a job role and a consultant is the job role. Okay, because these are the positions or our jobs in the organization. Accountant is your job or position in your organization, and consultant is a job or position in my organization. Okay, that's the reason I can say the job role which represents the specific jobs or positions in the organizations. Nothing but it's a collection of duty roles, privileges, and abstract roles. Got it? Okay, now let me give you some examples of the job roles. Already we have discussed about these things. The project accountant, project administrator, and project manager. These are the roles specific to the PPM. Okay, particularly, so whether these three roles are duty roles or job roles or the privileges, I can say these roles are the job roles. These roles are the job roles. Okay, so the Fayaz job is accountant. Fayaz position in the company is accountant. Fayaz position in the company is a project administrator, and Fayaz position in the company is a project manager. So these are the positions or jobs in the organization. I mean to say these are the job roles. For any user, only we can assign the job roles and the abstract roles. Abstract role, I'll tell you, okay, later. So the job roles we can assign directly with the user. Okay, this is how it is. Now, when it comes to the fourth one, like a the abstract role, the fourth one like a abstract role. Okay, normally in the company we have a two different types of the resources. Okay, one is the regular resources, and the second one is the contractors. I mean to say the employees and the contractors. The contractors I can say as a contingent workers in a cloud applications. Okay, there is a different terminology. Contingent worker, nothing but a contractor in the company. Okay, maybe a 6 months contract, 1 year contract, or 3 months contract, etc., etc. So, as an employee, or a contingent worker, as an employee or a contractor in the company. Okay. So irrespective of the module, whether you are going to work for the PPM or finance or SCM or OTL expenses, etc., etc. Okay. So also whether you are belongs to the Oracle applications or not. So if you are belongs to the Java, Salesforce, Hadoop, and SAP, Salesforce, etc., etc. So, as an employee in the company, as a contractor in the company, if you are working for 8 hours in a day for your project, somewhere you have to register these 8 hours in your company. For that, the company will provide one application where you can go ahead and register 8 hours a day for your project. For which project you are working? So, for the same project, you are going to register 8 hours in a day. Weekly, we have a 7 days and 5 working days. Every day, 8 hours. That means 5 working days, 5 into 40 hours. So, every day, every week, you are going to register 40 hours in a week. 40 hours in a week. Those are your working hours towards your project. Okay, that is the first thing. And the second thing is sometimes based on your band in the organization. Okay, if it is B4 or B3 or B1 or B2. So based on your the capability or based on your band, based on your level, so the company will provide certain allowances like internet allowance, mobile allowance, some Diwali gifts or something. Okay, so these also somewhere you have to register in the portal in a company. For example, I wanted to write one certification in a cloud application. Okay, company has to, as per the company policies, the company is going to reimburse money for the certification. Those who have cleared the examination. Okay, so initially you bear the expenses for the voucher to write the examination, and later once examination is cleared, as per the policy, you are eligible to reimburse that voucher cost like a 10,000 or 15,000. So somewhere you have to enter this. Somewhere you have to enter this voucher cost in the application in the company to get the reimbursement. Correct. So, as a employee or a contractor, I wanted to enter my working hours in a company or in any other application. And as a employee or contingent worker or contractor, I wanted to enter the reimbursement cost somewhere in the company or somewhere in the software in a company. It is not only specific to one particular module, right? Whatever the roles I have discussed here, these are the specific to the different modules. The privileges are available in all the modules, and the duty roles are available in all the modules, and job roles are also available. But the abstract role, it's like an employee. It's like an employee or a contractor. Okay. If I apply, so if you are a PPM functional consultant, for a PPM, we have a specific roles. I can assign only those roles. If you are a finance guy, I can assign only finance specific roles. If you are a SCM guy, I can assign only SCM specific roles. But when it comes to the abstract role, what happens is how many employees are there in the company? How many employees are there in the company? How many contractors are there in the company? Okay. Employee is itself is a one abstract role. Contingent worker is itself is a one abstract role. Okay, this one we are going to assign for all the employees in the company, irrespective of the module which you are working. Because basically you are an employee, you wanted to enter the timesheets and you wanted to enter the certain amounts for the reimbursements. How come it's possible? By assigning the abstract roles called employee or contractor, Then I'll tell you, okay, how to differentiate whether the role is an abstract role or job role or a duty role or privilege. Okay, I'll show you. And the last one is the job role. and the last one is the last one is the data role. Okay, so which is not available in the latest versions, which is as part of the older versions in the cloud application. Okay, that time there is no concept, there was no concept of a data access like this. There was no concept of a data access. Okay, that is the reason they have introduced this. Now they have removed the data role and they have given this concept. Okay. So these are the 5 different types of the generic roles. Generic roles. Okay. Coming to the model specific roles, then I'll show you. Coming to the model specific roles, I'll show you. And I wanted to go with a system, and I wanted to create a user, and I wanted to assign the roles, and I'll show you then what will be the impact of assigning the roles and what will be the impact of creating the users, etc., etc. Okay. Now, uh, just give me 1 second. I don't see anywhere, right? Just give me 1 second. Somewhere I kept this, just 1 second. Okay. So this is the document which I prepared for the model specific roles. Okay. So GL, AP, AR, and FA means account payables, account receivables, fixed assets, and the general ledger. These 4 modules are comes under the umbrella of financials. Okay. Whenever you wanted to work on the financials, and your user should have assigned with these many roles. These many roles. Especially if you are responsible completely for FA, and your user should have assigned with only these 3 roles. And if you are going to work on the account receivables, and these roles are must. And if you are going to work on the account payables, and these roles are must. On the general ledger side, if you wanted to work, and these roles are must. It's not compulsory like we should know what is the use of the account payable supervisor, account payable specialist, because we are not belong to the financials. The people who is learning about the financials, they must be able to know about the purpose of each role in the financials, specific to each module here. Okay, calm down. And these are the roles specifically for the HCM. That means where we should maintain the employee records, etc., etc. So for SCM, we have a inventory, procurement, order management, etc., etc. And these are the roles specifically for accessing the procurement module. And coming to the PPM, so if it comes to the PPM for a project costing, we have a certain roles. We have a certain roles. Out of these roles, so these are 3 roles is enough for a project costing. And if it comes to the enterprise contracts, there are certain roles are available to access the enterprise contracts. And if it is a grants management, there are certain roles are available to access the grants management module. Okay, so this is how I can. This is how the model specific roles are available for every model, not only for our PPM. Okay, if it is a finance or SCM or OTL or whatever it is, and we have a different set of roles are available. Okay, now when it comes to this, let me take this. Let me consider this a project accountant role. Okay, I'll show you. I'll show you. When I go to the system here, when I go to the system, and what happens is, if you go for the home page or navigator, I can able to see one tab called Tools tab, which is a generic tab. Okay, Tools. You come down, and there is a place called, there is a work area called a Security Console. And this is where everybody should come and do the security related actions. Security related actions. Okay, you just click on this. Okay. Now, this is completely a page referring to the roles. Okay. In the left side, we have a couple of options. You just click on the roles, and by default, the page will be on the roles only. See, if I expand this, we have a job roles, duty roles, abstract roles, other roles, privileges, and aggregate privileges, etc., etc. Okay. So, which role you wanted to search? Which role you wanted to search? Based on that, you can select this. Okay. Now, here we wanted to search with a project accountant role. If I search here, what happens? Let's see. This is a role. This is a role, and the role is associated with the one role code. So, if you carefully observe the role code here, at the end, I can see a word called a job. That means this particular role is a job role. This is what you should know. This is what you should know. Okay. Like, let me try this way. I'm typing something like a project. Okay. Project accountant. At the last in the role code, I can see a job. So this is a job role. Okay. So for project asset maintenance, this is a role and which is having a one role code, and the last word is a duty. That means that this is the duty role. This is the duty role. Okay. Now the project creator is having a one role code is associated, and it is ending with the word called abstract. That means which is an abstract role. This is how I can differentiate whether the role is the job role or a DT role or abstract role, etc., etc. But the privilege I don't see, because the privilege is as part of the duty role and the job role. Okay, inside the job role, I can see a duty roles and the privileges. Externally, I cannot see. Okay. So by seeing the last word of the role code, and we can differentiate what type of role it is. Is it a job role or abstract role or the duty role? Okay. Now I'm clicking on this. Okay, it will come like this. This is a role, and this is a role code, and this is what the description of this particular role. That means as a project accountant, what exactly I'm going to do. The high level information the Oracle has provided. Okay. Now, what I told you, this is a job role. Job role contains the DT roles, privileges, and also in abstract roles. And also a abstract roles. That means, so if you come here, this is a role, and this this job role specific data here. Okay. If I expand this, what happens? There are two options I can see. One is a privilege, and other one is the roles. If I select the privilege, how many privileges are associated with this project accountant role? Those many privileges I can see. See, these are the privileges. These are the privileges. Okay. So as a project accountant, he can able to perform the check funds, the fund checking. So as a project accountant, he can perform like deploying the project capital asset. As a project accountant, he can perform executing the setup task. Okay. So as a project accountant, he can perform the allocation rule, like defining the creating the allocation rule and creating the billing events and creating the allocation transactions, etc., etc. These are the privileges. These are the privileges. Okay. Every privilege is having the privilege code, and this privilege is inherited from one certain role, and this role is having a role code, and that is what it is. You just know what is the definition of the privilege and how the privilege will be. Okay. If I select the roles, what happens? Here itself I can see these are the roles. These are the roles, which may be a duty role or abstract role or any other roles. But how do I differentiate whether this particular role is a job role or abstract role? Just by seeing the role code. Okay, in the role code last, if I see the duty, this is a duty role. Okay, and only the roles are available as part of this. Okay, and whether this role is inherited from any other role, and that is where this is what we can see, the inherited by the role name and the role code. Okay, now so this is how we can see the role and what roles are associated here and what privileges are associated here. What privileges are associated here. Okay, just give me 1 second, ma. Just give me one. Okay, so I'm the employee, like maybe the implementation user or the end user. So for the users, we can assign directly the job roles and the abstract roles. I cannot assign the duty roles directly with the user, and I cannot assign the privileges directly with the users. We can assign directly only two types of roles. One is the job role, another one is the abstract roles. Because the privileges and the duty roles we can assign only with the job roles and the abstract roles. If we see the arrow marks carefully, the privileges we can keep under the job roles, also we can keep under the abstract roles, also we can keep under the duty roles. If I keep the privilege under the duty role, and this one we are going to keep under the either under the job role or the abstract role. Here you can remember like the duty roles and the privileges I cannot assign directly. I cannot assign directly. Okay. So because of that, if I select this option as a privilege in this particular job role, okay, this is a role, this is a job role, and this job role is associated with the privileges, duty roles, abstract roles, etc., etc. Then what privileges are associated, and you can select the privilege, and so that I can see. I wanted to know whether these privileges are comes under which umbrella. Like, is it comes under the duty role or is it comes under the abstract role? As per our discussion here, the privilege is either comes under the duty role or abstract role or job role, right? Okay, and these are the privileges of your role, the job role. Okay, and now this is a one privilege which is comes under a role called this one. And for this, the role code is this. This is the inherited. This is the parent one. From this parent, this privilege is there. This privilege is there under this particular role. And this privilege is there under this particular role. And this privilege is there under this particular role. And this is the role name and this is the role code. Okay. If I keep this as a role, and almost abstract role, I can see duty roles, I can see. Okay, let us see. It's like this is the one. This is a one duty role. And this duty role is comes under the another role called subledger accounting manager. Subledger accounting manager. This is a one role which is having a duty role called this. And what type of role is it? It is another duty role. So a duty role which contains, which associated with another duty role as well. Okay, got it? Any confusion?
So what can I understand is probably it is a dependent on the processes which are interlinked. And
Yes,
these
yes.
roles are linked with those such processes. Those are called the inheritance roles.
Yes, yes.
Is that my understanding correct, sir? Here?
Yeah, yes, correct if I ask. We are going deeply, but the high level, you should remember like the model specific roles. If you remember, that is enough. But we should be in a position to know what is a privilege and what is a job role, what is an abstract role, duty role, privilege. etc., etc.
It,
Okay. Now, if you see, so see, so this is an user, like an employee or user. Okay. He is going, this Fayaz is assigned with either job roles or abstract roles directly. Okay. I have assigned project accountant, project accountant and project creator. Project creator is abstract role and the project accountant is the job role I have assigned. Okay. Then, so what type of actions Fayaz can perform by associating with these two roles like expenditure entry. I mean to say the transaction entry. Okay. Then accounts derivation and cost adjustments and project creation. Project creation is for the project creator and the remaining are three for the project accountant. Okay. So these are the actions. Action specific duty roles or privileges we are associated with a job roles or abstract roles, and these roles we are assigning directly with the user so that the user is acting as accountant and the creator to perform these actions. To perform these actions. For every action, there should be one duty role or privilege in the system. We are performing the accounts derivation. For the account derivation, there may be a one privilege or one duty role in the system. Okay. So this is how it works. This is how it works. Okay. Now let's see this. Let's see this. As in the left side portion, it is talking about the fusion. In the right side portion, it is yes. So right side portion also it is talking about the fusion only. So this is a payables user, the person who is working on the finance side, and here the person who is working on the PPM side. Okay, if you focus on the left side portion, what happens? So payables user, nothing but the employee who is working on the account payables module, and he has assigned with a job role, and he can able to by associating the job role with this payables user, and this payables user can perform creating the invoices and managing the invoices and doing the adjustments of the invoices and doing the create accounting for the invoices, etc., etc. Okay, so if it comes under if it comes under the invoice creation, what happens? If you wanted to create an invoice, then what type of actions you are performing on the invoice creation? Again, you create an invoice and you can edit the invoice, you can delete the invoice, you can validate the invoice, and you can do the accounting invoice. And these actions are comes under the privileges, and these privileges we are keeping under the duty roles, and these duty roles we are keeping under the job role, and job role is finally assigned with the user, and we cannot assign directly the privileges with the user. That is what my intention is to confirm here. When it comes to the PPM user, the PPM user is assigned with a job role, and this job role is associated with the duty roles and the privileges. So as a projects user, like as a PPM user, I wanted to approve the invoice. Approving the invoice is comes under the duty role. While approving the invoice, and I have to view the invoice and I can approve the invoice. So these two are the privileges. These two privileges are comes under the duty role, and this duty role is associated with the job role, and the job role is associated with the user. Got it, ma?
yes.
Yes.
Any questions?
Satya, like suppose if you were assigning job roles, then duty roles and privileges role automatically inherited from the job role, right?
Yes, yes, correct.
Okay.
I'll show you then how to assign the roles with the user. Okay.
If any of the privilege needs to be removed or excluded, can we do that one, sir? Privilege or duty or anything?
Definitely. So
even duty role also.
yeah, if you see carefully,
Yeah.
If you see carefully here, the payables user, okay. So as a payables user, while creating the invoice, he can able to perform these actions. Create the invoice, view the invoice, editing, deletion, validation, account for invoices, etc. etc. Okay. Now I'll go to the system. I'll go to the payables module. I'll go to the payables module and payables module and invoices. I wanted to create one invoice. For that, I'll click on this create invoice. The invoice page will get opened here. Okay. So my user is ppm01.student. Okay. So there is a customer requirement. As a payables user, I can perform all these actions. But the customer says, so the customer requirement is for the payable user, he should not perform any accounting. He should not perform any accounting. That was a requirement from the customer side. For the accounting, for performing the accounting of the invoices, there is a different team is available. Okay. Then whoever is going to create the invoices, their responsibility is to create the invoice and validate the invoice. They are not going to do the accounting. That means, so for this a payable user, like the invoice creating user, I wanted to restrict the accounting. That means this portion, where is this post to the ledger and account in draft? These are two options completely we can restrict. Then how I can able to restrict these are two options from the payables user? So it is not further expanding. Then you should be in a position. To find out what privileges is available for post to ledger and what privilege is available for account in a draft. Who will create the invoices, which role is comfortable, which role is assigned with a user to create the invoices. There is a role like accounts payable specialist. Account payable specialist is a job role, and if it is assigned with your user can create a invoice like this. For that user, I wanted to delete these two options. So these two are the privileges we wanted to remove from the job role, nothing but which is from the accounts payable specialist. The privileges specific to these two options are available under a job role, which is account payable specialist. Because of the account payable specialist is assigned with your user, so that your user is coming back to this particular screen and can able to see all these options. If you wanted to remove these two options, yes, you go ahead and you find out what privilege is available for post to ledger and what privilege is available for the account in draft option. And once you find out, and you can remove those privileges from the account payable specialist job role, so that these two options will go off, will be removed from the user. We can create the custom role by deleting these two privileges. I can create a custom role, and that custom role has to be assigned with a user. You don't touch the seeded roles. Whenever you wanted to do some changes for the standard roles, the system won't allow you. Even the system will allow you, it's not a recommended practice. You can duplicate the seeded role and you can do the changes for your you can do the changes for the duplicated role. Got it, Veera?
Yes, Satya.
Okay.
Can you show me like how to delete this role? Sorry, privileges. Sorry.
Yeah, we'll show you something here. Now, if you go here, if I go here, go to the roles, tools, and security console, and the role, and here I am typing like so accounts payable specialist. Okay, I'm clicking on this. 1 second, ma. Okay. So now we have opened a job role called account payable specialist. Because of this role is assigned with my user, I can able to go to the create invoice page. I can able to see the actions. Okay. Now what I should do is, first of all, we have to duplicate this role. You click on this down arrow and copy role. We'll give the other name for this. Like the demo account payable specialist. Okay. Go for next. Here the couple of tabs I can see, right? Okay, what is the role name or role code and what exactly it will do? Okay, the basic information. Okay, there are some function security policies are available against each role. Okay, see, these are the privileges I can able to see. These are the privileges. Okay, if you come down, see, you select any one privilege. And delete option is highlighted here. Okay, you remove it. Yes, I wanted to remove this. That means now if this particular role is assigned with a user and they cannot able to export the privilege specific actions from his login. Okay, if you wanted to assign the privileges, yes, you can go ahead here. This is how I can add the privileges or removing the privileges. Hope you clarified, Veera.
Like, how do we know, like, which users we are going to do the privileges, like remove the privileges, sorry.
How do? No, come again.
No, how do we know, like, for which user we are going to remove the privileges?
Yeah, it all depends on the customer requirement. The customer will give us a complete list of users. So these users, the first users are completely responsible for the invoice creation only. The next 10 users are completely responsible for to derive the accounting for the invoices. We'll get the list from the customer, and so anyhow, so these are all comes under the requirement sessions. Okay, if you sit in front of the customer and you should be in a position to tell them like these are the features are available and what security you wanted to follow. For security, you can set up a call with the for security purpose and all. You set up a call with the customer and you can get the requirement, and accordingly you can create your customized roles by removing the privileges or the DT roles, or by adding the extra privileges or the DT roles, etc., etc. We don't know, right? So we take the requirement from the customer side. Accordingly, we'll build the custom roles and the we'll map it for the users for their testing and all. Okay.
Sir, I have a question here.
Yes, Fayaz.
So, for example, this role is the accounts payable specialist, and if you are going to add new functions here, I mean new privileges here. So I think if you need to click on that plus symbol, then so it will show only relevant privileges, right? Which are relevant
Yes.
accounts
The
payable specialist.
relevant privileges only we can see.
It will show.
We cannot create our own privileges. What are the privileges are given by the Oracle? The same privileges I am going to add or delete. We cannot create our own privileges.
So if you click on this symbol, it will show only which are the relevant for accounts payable specialist, right?
Yes, correct. Because we have duplicated the
this particular role.
only. That's the reason. And we cannot see any other role specific privileges here.
Got it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Now, so in the left side, there is an option called the users, right? Users. Every day I'm logging with one user, which is a ppm01.student, ppm01.student. Okay. So if I go with a user, let me search with a user. Otherwise, I wanted to create a user. I wanted to create a user. Okay. So if you go for the home page, so what I'll do here is, there are two things I'll do. Okay. One is the user creation, and the second one is the module specific roles assignment for your user. Okay. These two are the actions we wanted to perform. Now, from your side, you wanted to create your own logins. Then how come it's possible? Then you can go with the first step. Later, if you are a PPM, you can assign the PPM roles. If you are a finance, and you can assign a finance roles with your user based on this document. Based on this document. Okay. Now, what we can do is, we can go to the home page and we can go to the tools tab and we can go to the security console. If you go to the security console in the left side, I can able to see an option called the users. You click on the users and there is a provision called add user account, and you go with the add user account. Then what happens is, and here there is a provision, to create the user. Okay. So I'm creating like the first name is the PPM and the next name is IMPL. Okay. ppm.impl@gmail.com. Okay. When you populate the first name and last name, automatically the system has given the username ppm.impl. Okay. I am giving the password like welcome123. Welcome123. Okay. Let me click on the save. If you want, we can add the module specific roles here itself by using this role, by using this button, add role. Okay. Now we have given only the header level information. Let me save it. What is my user? This is my user and this is my password. Okay. Now I can copy this. And I'll go to the other browser. Okay. I can paste this. Okay. Now, what is our user? What is our newly created user? ppm.impl. Okay. Then the password is welcome. welcome123. Okay. Let me click on the sign in. ppm.impl. welcome123. This is what the password is. Why? Give me a second. So the user is already created, right? I wanted to search ppm.impl. That IMPL, nothing but the implementation, ppm implementation person. This is what the user which we have created. So the password is not working, right? I wanted to reset the password now. Okay, let's go with the reset password. You can select this, manually change the password. Oracle as 1. Okay. Otherwise, welcome@123. welcome@123. Okay. Reset the password. Okay. Now let me go to the other browser. The same login, right? ppm.impl and the password is welcome@123. See, now the credentials are working, right? The system is trying to open the instance with our own credentials, our own user credentials. By default, whenever you create users, the few things will come in the home page. when I go to the home page, so the few things will come. Okay, like this one. Okay, now if I go here, what happens? If I go here, what happens? What is happening here? I can see multiple tabs. I can see multiple tabs here. I can see multiple tabs. Each tab is referring to one particular module, right? Okay. Now, if I go to my user, which is created now, I don't see any other tabs, like the module specific tabs are available. Then how can I work here? I told you very clearly, like every module is having their own set of specific set of roles are available. Now, as a PPM implementation consultant, I should get an access to the PPM module. How? Now, if I go to this document, and I can able to see the few roles under the PPM. I wanted to add these three roles. I wanted to add these three roles for the user ppm.impl so that I can able to see the projects tab at the home page from my login. Okay. Now I don't see any projects tab here, right? Now I'll go here. I'll go to the tools and security console and users. Now let's go with what is the user? IMPL. ppm.impl is the user. Okay, let me open this. And let me open this, edit. No role is available. No role is associated with this user. Let me go with edit. See here there is a provision. Add role. Like you can add the project administrator. The project administrator. Okay. So what happens when project administrator role is assigned? I'll show you something. You can select and you can click on add role membership. Okay. You just click on save and close. Done. You go back to that browser. You log out. And log in again so that the changes will get reflected at the home page. ppm.impl. No, ppm.impl. This one, I think. See, can I see the projects tab now? In the projects tab, I can able to see the project financial management. How do I get an access to the projects tab? Because of we have assigned a project administrator role with my user so that I can able to see this option. And this option will help us to create the projects and budget entry, forecast entry, etc., etc. If there is any project, I wanted to enter the transactions within the PPM. So for entering the transactions and the derivation of the accounting for that particular transaction, we have a different role in the PPM. So it is the project accountant. If project accountant role is assigned, what happens? In the same projects tab, I can able to see the other work area called cost. Nothing but the cost booking for your project. Only I got an access for project creation only. I wanted to enter the transactions for my projects. So I don't have an access now. Now I'll go here, I'll open this user and go for edit. Go for the project accountant. Project accountant. And you can consider this. Done. You can save and close. Done. And go back to our login, PPM IMPL. Let me sign out and sign in. See, now I can see the cost. Because of we have assigned a project accountant role with my user, I can able to see the cost work area. Because of the project administrator role is assigned with my user, I can able to see the project financial management work area. Going forward, I can go with the project financial management and the cost work area to create the different projects and to book the cost for my project, etc., etc. Okay, so this is how I can provide an access to I can provide an access with the user. Only the PPM specific roles I can assign for one user. That means that user is completely responsible for the PPM only. Okay. Similarly, the management activities like the project manager, I am going to add for this user. Let's see the project manager. Project manager. Okay. Also, I'm assigning the payables specific roles. Payables specific roles. If I go here, the payables specific roles are these are the roles, right? Payable specific roles. I'll add one by one. So the project manager is added. I'll show you the reflection, how the reflection will be after adding this project manager. Okay. Accounts payable supervisor is the one role. And accounts payable supervisor, this is the one, actual one. Accounts payable specialist, accounts payable manager. Okay. Now let's go and save and close. Done. Done. Go back to this user and sign out. Log in with our credentials. See, previously I don't see the payables tab. Now I can see the payables tab because of the payables specific roles are assigned with the ppm.impl user. That is the reason I can see. Okay. Now if I go to the projects, previously I can see only project financial management and cost. So these things I did not see previously. Because of we have applied, we have assigned the project manager role, and these things I can see, like the project manager dashboard, performance dashboard, the project manager activities, specific work areas, I can able to see after I assign the project manager role. Okay. So from the, even after we have implemented, you get the confirmation from the customer side. Just give me the list of users. Then what are the list of the payables user? What are the list of the receivables user? Then the list of the PPM users. Okay, you get the list from the customer, then you can assign the roles with the specific users. Got it, ma? Any questions here?
So one question.
Yeah.
So what for the demo user, for this implementation user, with your original login, you created you allotted a few roles of project accountant role. So
Yes.
this is immediately replicated with the user. So in the real-time scenario, also is the same case, or do we
Same
need to
case.
wait for
Same
some
case.
time to get it replicated?
Whatever I can see, whatever we can see here, the
Okay.
environment will be same in the real time as well. No difference. No
Okay.
difference.
The role replication also be
Yeah,
with
same.
immediate effect. Okay.
Yeah, same.
Okay.
Sometimes even after the role is assigned with your user, but I don't see any reflection. If
Okay.
that is the case, so you just wait for 1 minute, then you just log out and log in. It will be reflected. Still, if it is not reflected, then there are some the refreshing programs are available in the system. There are some refreshing programs are available in the system, like so if I go with the setup and maintenance, if I go with the setup and maintenance, Okay, there is a one program. Run user and roles synchronization process. This is the program. This is the program which we need to run. And if you run this program, if you run this process, what happens is it will synchronize the users and the associated roles so that the reflection will be then after running this. Okay. Then how do I go run this? If you come to the setup and maintenance, I can see here. If I click on this, the other page will get opened and we have to click on the submit so that this program will run. And this is the name of the program. Okay. You copy this. Otherwise, I'll go to the home page. Yesterday, we have discussed about the schedule process, right? Under tools tab. If I go to the schedule process, now you click on the schedule new process. Manually, I wanted to run the process like the synchronizing the users and the associated roles. Okay, you can go with this and you can come down. You can click on the search. You can paste this and you can search. We'll get something here. See, you can select this. Okay, and okay, and submit. And you can refresh here. And this program is ready now. This program is running now. And this program is hold or this till you have to refresh till this program gets succeeded. So that the reflection will be there 100%.
Okay, so even if you don't do this one, system will take care, right?
Previously, in the lower versions, once you create the users and map all the model specific roles, you must run this program in previous versions. In the latest versions, you don't need to run this program. Automatically, the changes will get reflected at the home page.
Okay, so one last question.
Yeah.
So in the real-time scenario, after implementation done and when a new employee join and all, when the roles are assigned, how the approval matrix go on? So we are directly assigning the role, but who will approve?
That is the different concept of okay. We'll focus on that as well.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Any other questions?
Yeah, so one question. Even without adding the journal ledger role, so we can see the journal accountant role for one of the user that we are creating.
Yes, correct, Sai. See, where is that? Initially, I have added only project administrator role. Okay. For that, I did not add the GL specific role. Still, I can able to see this general accounting tab. Okay. There are certain cases, like there are certain concerns from the Oracle side. Something like if you add the project administrator role, so the minimum things we need to add like the grants accounting or budgetary control, etc., etc. Okay, for this also I did not add.
Yes.
Okay, so this is a demo instance. I particularly, if I add a project administrator role, only the projects should come. The general accounting and the budgetary control and my enterprise, it should not come. This is a demo instance. It's not a customer specific instance, right?
Okay. Okay, got it.
Okay. So because of it is a demo instance, the many people are going to access. So everything is provided by the Oracle on a demo instance. Okay, maybe some bugs are available, maybe some the product issues are available, etc. So if I get the same issue in the customer instance, then you need to work with the Oracle guys by creating a service request with them. Then they will provide us the proper reason why it is coming. Is it a corrective behavior or not? It won't stop us for our activities, right? Day-to-day activities, right? If you are more interested towards to know about why it is added, even the role is not assigned, then you should raise an SR with an Oracle so that we should know if it is repeated in the customer instance.
Yeah. So I just wanted to know whether it's a dependency on that one, or by due to bug it was added or something. So due to because of the
See,
like it's a training instance, it was added. Yeah.
yeah, maybe the accounting, particularly when I go with this option, like previously we have added project administrator, that time the general accounting is added here. Okay. So with this project financial management, it is no way depending on the accounting. Still it is added. Okay. So maybe like you say, if it is depending on any the accounting process and all, we thought like it will come.
So
Correct.
is there any chance that project administrator role job role is having this general accountant job role also included? Will it be possible?
Maybe let me verify.
Yeah, that's what. Is it so? We can add job role to one job role.
Yeah. So maybe if there is any DT role is associated with the project administrator, by default it will come.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, sir. Got it.
Yeah. Any other questions? Sai, you joined with a mobile and a laptop. I can see two names here.
So I joined in laptop, sir.
Okay. Okay. So there is other.
The unmuted one is mine, and I don't know the other mute. It's not my account.
Maybe other person. Who is
Yes.
other Sai here?